time
Good
is it?
morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hardwood Nation podcast with your boy CL Anthony, my main man Bryce Ward, my second favorite white guy in the whole wide world, Michael Franz, and Kobe Bean. What's going on, fellas?
Yeah. Hey man, I'm here. I'm humbled to be here. Thank you for having me.
We don't need none of that Zen shit this early in the morning.
I'm so humbled. I'm just grateful to be here. Okay.
We don't need any of that this early in the morning.
What Wimbenyama has encouraged him to join the monks,
And he still ain't
Like
coming
Jane
to LA.
Kane.
thirsty for the inner light.
Call me grasshopper.
Mike, I hope you get better. I know you told us what was going on offline. I hope you get better, brother.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna get started today with a topic I care about. You guys might not care about, but I don't care. It's my podcast, so I want to say this. Well, I think it was Tuesday. I saw the tweet that almost floored me that Damian Lillard was cut and stretched by the Milwaukee Bucks. So, ironically, I was in St. Pete Tuesday. I immediately walked out of the office and called Bryce and was like, what the fuck is going on? So, a move I didn't see, a move I don't think any of you guys see. Bryce, I'm going to throw it to you first. Immediate reactions to the Milwaukee Bucks. And I say, even though they paid him, they fucked Dame over.
Desperate. More and more desperate moves from Milwaukee to keep their biggest star that they've had in I can't remember. I mean,
Since Lou Alcindor.
When? Yeah. So that's what I called their move when they originally got Dame. I felt it was a bit desperate. And as someone who's lost multiple stars, I get why they're trying to do what they do, but at the same time, it's like, how much does it turn off Giannis to see them do that to Dame? He seemed to be pretty bothered by it, but it's hard for me to also believe that he had no idea it was going to happen.
Oh, he knew.
It's weird for me when every other little move is probably ran by Giannis. Either way, whether or not he did or not, either way, it didn't seem like he was too happy about it. It felt really like too much, too crazy. I don't think there's anything I've listened to where someone was like, I think it's a really good idea. I don't really see, especially with the new CBA, how flushing that $22 million down every year is going to be good for the future. I get wanting to come off the contract. He's hurt for a year, but still, all at the same time, it's all a bit too radical, too desperate of a move. I feel like I don't think it barely makes them better this year in a way that I think is enough to convince Giannis that the team is moving in the right direction. I mean, it was a move. I just don't know if that's enough. And like I said, it seemed like it turned Giannis off a little bit, at least when it happened. So I just call it desperate. I would be a little upset if I was a Milwaukee fan on how maybe every year since the championship has went. And so I don't. The Kuzma move, it's all felt desperate. Yeah, I think is the best word that I can use to describe it. I didn't like it. I don't think anybody really liked it, except maybe Dame now, since he can just go wherever he wants. Dame might have been about it afterwards. So who knows? Desperate though. That's all I can say.
Mike, what were your thoughts on it? And like I said, considering Dame got his money, but what were your thoughts on it?
I think for like when I'd seen it, it was pretty surprising to begin with. But after I thought about it for a while, it makes a lot of sense. With the salary cap increasing this year, the $22 million over the next couple of years it helps a little bit, right? So it frees up a spot. Dame can go wherever he wants. They're not gonna be able to use him for the whole season anyway. So by the time he comes back, he's going to be going on 37 years old, right? He's 35 now. So by the time he comes back with the following season where he's going to end up playing, he's going to be 37, going into 38. He's getting up there. So you can't stash away a player like that. It's like you got to use him now, and for the money that they're paying him, hey, you know what? It's just from a business perspective, it's like It was a bad position for Milwaukee to be in, but from a business perspective, it makes sense.
Yeah. So Pat, before I throw it to you, and you guys all know my personal thoughts on the Dame Milwaukee trade to begin with, how Portland were being bitches and didn't want to send Dame to where he wanted to go in the first place. Pat, considering that the Bucks kind of really never wanted Dame, just to throw him away like this off the Achilles injury, like I just think it's just disrespectful as fuck. But how do you feel about it?
Before I answer that, why do you like Dame so much?
Because Dame's a great player and he's a great guy.
Because he wants him in Miami about his
No,
back.
I've liked Dame before
Bryce.
Miami. I like Dame before Miami. You know that, Bryce.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Bryce,
but
for clearing that up.
you got especially hurt when you knew.
Yes, I did.
You thought he was coming to Miami and Milwaukee.
No, he said he wanted to come to Miami, and then Milwaukee was bitches and Portland was bitches. But Pat, question.
I always wonder why you like Dame so much. But anyways, it's man, you're never safe in the league, man. You get an injury, you can be up out of there. I don't know all the particulars with contracts and stuff, but just on a business side, like a human side, bro, you have to stay healthy, or they're looking for the next thing available. So, but bro hit the lottery. He doesn't have to show up to work, and he's still getting paid. I just wish him the best. I don't know. I don't have too much of an opinion on that. I'm not really a Milwaukee follower. I'm looking for Giannis to come to LA pretty soon. So that's
LA
that's really all I have to say about that.
So wait,
Anyway, he would have been paid anyway. This allows it to stretch it over a span of time rather than pay it right up front.
right, guaranteed contracts in the NBA. But here's my thing though. Here's my whole thing. They never wanted him to begin with. He was miserable there because he didn't want to go there. Pat, had it been Kobe cut when he
Never. That never would have happened.
No, but what I'm saying is, had it been Kobe cut when he popped his Achilles, Lord, I can't talk today. I think your sentiment would be different. Would it be?
Oh, it would have been riots in the street, my guy. It would have been riots. It would have been 92 riots again. What?
92, got it.
It's a bit extreme. To say Milwaukee didn't want him at all. Like they're just sliding my. You don't make a deal like that. If it was just someone else that Miami wanted, Milwaukee would have went through such extremes. It's the player that Dame is also. To say they only did it to screw Miami is a bit much.
They wanted to weaken Miami because Miami always beat Milwaukee.
Yes, but it's not like Dame wasn't going to be valuable for them.
They didn't want him, and he didn't want to beat it. For real. And this
Miami that's fine. It doesn't mean that Milwaukee doesn't value him. It doesn't matter about all the things going on.
After he popped his Achilles. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
Because they're desperate.
If Giannis pops his Achilles, they're not going to cut Giannis. They're not going to cut Giannis if Giannis pops his Achilles.
It's a roundup.
No, let's be real.
Giannis is
Let me ask y'all a real question. What's the difference between, and it's just maybe Dallas's situation, what's the difference here between how Kyrie's situation and Dame's situation compares to each other?
Because Dallas values Kyrie. Milwaukee didn't give a fuck about Dame. You just answered your own question.
I was just wondering.
Not just
saying you think he's coming back better. What do you mean?
Go ahead, Mike.
Kyrie ACL. That's a different injury.
It is.
But he's going to be back. He's going to be back sooner than Dame is. Dame is going to be gone into not like through next season, and he'll be ready for camp probably barely September.
Right.
For the following season. Kyrie's probably going to be back after All-Star break.
Yes, yeah.
Is Kyrie? How much younger is Kyrie than Dame? Too.
They're like 5 years apart.
They're about the same.
No, 5 years apart. No.
I think that Milwaukee was put into a position with an aging superstar and a portion where he's coming out of his prime.
They put themselves in that position.
They do. I know they do. They have to be accountable for that. Yes. They do. They're
the ones that fucked us over. Yes, it's personal. Yes, it is. It's fucking.
Then in that case, you can call it karma. How about
Now,
that?
well, no, because Dame's still impacted
I'm
by
saying-
Leah.
From the team, Milwaukee's in a bad position right now. They're about to lose their superstar.
Yeah, maybe. We don't
It's
know.
it's all crumbling down for them.
Come on home, Giannis.
What y'all got to
Come
offer
home.
Giannis, Pat? What y'all got to offer Giannis, Pat?
Whatever he
Nothing
wants.
at all.
Whatever he wants.
LeBron James.
Whatever he wants.
No team. They've been saying no team wants LeBron right now.
Milwaukee's going to have to take
Whatever he wants. And they say LeBron was golfing
I'm
in
going to Milwaukee.
Ohio this weekend.
Don't do that. Don't do that. So, moving along to our next topic, Mike, I'm going to have you start this one off and lead it. What the fuck is going on with this Malik Beasley stuff, man? What's going on?
Right now, it's just an investigative situation. He's being investigated for gambling. It's becoming a little more prevalent now. I believe a couple of weeks ago we had a conversation where Vegas got brought up. I brought it up as a topic. It was brought up and talked to like a conspiracy theory, but let's be honest. Ever since FanDuel, DraftKings, and sports betting became live, Vegas has their hands in a lot of shit. And now the players are getting involved. So this isn't the first time. We've had two other players who have already been caught. One of them more recently where he was suspended for, what was it, 50 games?
Who?
The kid from Toronto.
The kid from Toronto?
Yeah, there's a kid from Toronto that got caught.
No, that's a lifetime. That's a lifetime.
So that's what I'm saying. So like if we're gonna let Vegas come in and allow for sports betting to flourish the market, we've seen just when they added in a few states before they let the whole thing open up, there was so much money even like after one day. Money runs this whole thing. It's all business. Let's be real. We saw it right now in the last topic we talked about. We now see it in this topic that we're talking about. It's a business. That's what they're in the money for. So I'm not saying that when it comes to these things that games are completely thrown or whatever it is. It's going to be a couple of situations here and there. Like there, just right after Malik Beasley got caught, there's a baseball player who's now being investigated for two specific pitches. And these guys pitch 100 pitches a game. Right? Starter. 2 pitches, and now he's being investigated for gambling. Like it's getting a little bit ridiculous, but I don't know. This is so new. I don't know what regulations they put in. It's like, how do you address this? Like, you have to have these things happen before you know how to correct it. So I think we're at the beginning stages to start seeing certain regulations. And some of these guys are like, okay, well, you know what? It's a lifetime ban. You're going to lifetime ban everybody. And is that supposed to scare people? Because if that's the case, they're just going to go do their gambling. They've already got money that they've already received after just one contract, 1 year, whatever it may be. They've got enough money to do some shit with. So I don't think that it's going to be getting any easier. I think that we're going to see a lot more names coming out here.
Pat, I'm going to throw it to you next. We know, all of us know that a lot of athletes go broke after a few years after they retire. So Malik Beasley's career earnings in the NBA has been $60 million. And I always say, if I have someone in my circle that's on a paper chase all the time, I'm not going to trust that person. I'm just not to, because people get desperate. So knowing that Malik Beasley has made $60 million and seemingly he's made these decisions because he's broke, what's your take on it, Pat?
That sounds like a contradiction. He made $60 million and he's broke.
We've seen people who made more than that broke.
Wow, the motivations for it's just confusing to me for somebody to risk that kind of money for the like. What was he getting paid? Like, was he getting paid millions to throw these games or thousands to throw these games?
It wasn't to even throw games. There was one specific play that he actually it was end of the game. I think it was against the Timberwolves.
I saw that.
Where his one basket allowed the spread to be covered.
Right. It was like 8.5 spread and all that.
I've never seen Beasley run so fast in his life when he's trying to get down to
Yeah, so they don't necessarily have to
That's
throw games. What they have to do is just manipulate the stats a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
well, but like, how much are they getting paid to do such? You know,
Right.
is it
That
worth it? Is it
that
worth
we don't know.
losing
So,
millions?
for example, check this out. So this is what these are entities that's suing him right now. He owes
Mm,
65K to Hazen Sports Management for failure to repay a loan against future marketing revenue.
mm,
He's being sued for $26,000 from Cairo Cuts, who is a celebrity barbershop in Milwaukee. He's getting
mm.
sued for $21,000 from a historic apartment building in Detroit for failure to pay rent, and then $34,000 for a dentist in Minnesota. So his
So,
career earnings are gone.
bro, just seemed like he's dysfunctional, and
Mm-hmm.
he's a part of. Yeah, he was in. Wasn't he involved with Larsa Pippen at one point,
Yes.
playing on the set? Yes, he just seemed like a dysfunctional human being. I don't know. I don't know if it's okay to say like it's a upcoming culture is spreading in the league or across other leagues.
You can
I
say
don't
it.
know if we could say that like we should be like the integrity of sports is at in jeopardy right now. I don't know, bro. I don't know too much about it, but you know, sports betting. Pete Rose was accused of stuff like that. You know, you got the Black Sox. I mean, you got it's historically it's been around, and and just because sports betting is legal now doesn't mean it wasn't a thing then. So I don't know, man. It just seems idiotic for him to put that much money at risk for a few $1,000s here and there. It just doesn't
But the
make any
money's
sense to
already
me.
gone. That's the thing. So when the money's
Yeah.
gone, then you have to do things outside the box to try to recoup all that and pay what you owe.
Mhm.
Bryce.
Who's running his money then?
Yeah, yeah, that too. Yeah. Right. So with sports betting, with this analytics bullshit that's been going on for years, and everybody's so focused on numbers, I believe it opened the door for stuff like this to happen. So it was like a perfect storm, right? So what's your thought on it?
Um, I think it's always going to have to be something that people are trying to beat, and then the system's trying to control. I don't think it'll ever be like an easy answer. Like Pat said, it's something. It's not new. Maybe the access to it and how easy it is and how legal it is. All that's new, but it's always
Mhm.
been around. It's always been Vegas trying to control the money, like Mike said too. So it's I don't think there's a clean fix. Just like performance enhancing drug is in all sports. It's always going to be athletes and people trying to do their best to get around the rules, and so I think we'll continue to see small ways. Like last year, it was a very small thing, but when KCP was with the Magic, of course, Magic fan base follows everything to do with the guy, including his wife, who I believe even posted something on Twitter about betting odds on something, and that kind of raised some eyebrows. So in some instances, if some of these guys are smart, like Beasley might just be a little unhinged, like Pat said too, is it doesn't always have to be them. It could be friends or family members who are also involved, which can, kind of lead to the same result. So it's like, it's going to be hard, I think, to really, I guess, clamp down on it. And they're just going to have to always be vigilant. I mean, they did a whole documentary on the refs in the NBA, or at least one specific ref, and then we know that's not the only guy. So it's like, especially in basketball, they've had this scandal. They've had this scandal for I don't know 3-4 decades. It feels like almost, and now it's in the players' hands as well instead of just the refs. So it's almost like it's been spread instead of being contained. So I don't know if there's a really great answer outside of trying to set examples, and we see that probably only leads to more sneaky behavior. But overall, I think the general 90%, 95% really aren't participating in this kind of stuff, and it's on the edges, on the extremes. It's very discouraging. I mean, we have our issues with the refs, not calling games straight down the middle. So it just adds another element that it's in the back of your head every game. It's like, what's really going on here? What am I really supporting? But to be honest, I don't know if a great answer on how to fix it outside of extreme punishment. But we see that doesn't lead to anything being solved either. So I don't really have a great answer. It's discouraging, and I hope they figure out better ways than I can to crack down on it, because nobody wants that in their sport.
So the trends start at some point. So you don't have a trend until something starts a trend. So the last year and a half, we've had 3 players. The Porter boy in Toronto, Terry Rozier, who's been cleared, and now we have Malik Beasley. So we'll see what happens with this Beasley situation. So far, we only got 1 conviction, which is the Porter brother in Toronto. I believe because this is like a past thing where they don't catch it until months after certain things happen. I think in the next year or so, we might have 2 or 3 more players. But as of right now, they're lower level NBA players. So it's not like LeBron James or someone who's making over $100 million. These are like low level players on small contracts who may have gotten in trouble financially at some point. But I think we will see a couple of more within the next year or so, and then it may start to die down. Mike, I give you the last word on it.
Bryce is talking about, like, there was 2 examples of situations that kind of came to mind here. He mentioned, like, maybe not the athlete actually doing it, but somebody in their maybe close circle. You're talking about a Shohei Ohtani situation, right? Mm-hmm. Shohei Ohtani, his interpreter, you could, from the details of, did he take the fall for Shohei, or was he the actual one that was doing the gambling? And he got paid out as a settlement from Shohei Ohtani of $10 million. So what does that kind of speak to, right? Like, are we seeing that's a big name superstar that we could be seeing that may have done this and found a route to get away with it by having somebody take a fall? The other thing is that when we're sitting here talking about NBA refs and we're talking about integrity of the game, Tim Donahue was the referee we were talking about with that documentary that you mentioned, Bryce. And who was his best friend?
Scott Foster.
And who's still refereeing in the NBA?
The extended.
So how do you not go into these things thinking, okay, how is this going to be called? How is this game going to be called? Especially when it's your team. Like, it's a little scary, right? And when you're doing the sports betting, it's not about really what you feel like this player could do on any given night. You have to think about, what is Vegas going to make money off of, right? So it alters your whole way of thinking when you're approaching the game, and it kind of takes a lot of the fandom out of it and turns it into the business even more. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting over the next couple of years to see what actually happens, and seeing, like, if we're seeing the trend actually start, or if some of these players turn around and fear for whatever consequence it is and change their game.
This is what I'll say before we go to the next topic, and I'm going to start it with Pat on the next topic. But before, a couple of years before the referee gambling scandal, NBA referees actually had another scandal that came out and was killed really quick, to where they would take their first class tickets, because they all had first class flights, and they would exchange those tickets for coach tickets and then pocket the money. That was another scandal that the NBA had, and the NBA killed really quick. So that just goes back to what I say as far as desperate people doing desperate things. Okay, because that was an investigation as well that disappeared, but you guys can Google that.
Hey, with the rumors of MJ and what he did, was the rumors that he was betting on just everything in general, or specifically was he doing things with the NBA games as well? Like, I know that a lot of people think he had this big gambling. I mean, he has a gambling issue, it seems, maybe. But back then, like, with the reasons that he retired and like the rumors around that, what was it? Was it just that he owed money to people, or was he also like betting on NBA games and stuff too? Because I don't know.
It was literally like just Vegas games, card games, stuff like that. Because sports betting, sports betting, the way that it is now, it exploded. That wasn't really like that in the 90s.
It was different.
I just wondered.
There's a lot of rumors surrounding that too. back then. So stuff I don't want to get into, especially including his father. So Pat, you text me this week about a topic, and I've been seeing it, you've been seeing it, everyone else been seeing it. So
What's that, Cam?
Let me do my intro, damn it. Let me do my intro.
Okay. I'm like a pit bull.
Look.
Okay.
So, and me and you are opposite on this topic, but it's fine. There's been a lot of Kobe Bryant talk the last month or so on certain player podcasts, and Gilbert Arenas, Dwayne Wade. There's been a lot of talk out there. Now,
Tracy McGrady.
I have gone on record to say, and I said this a couple of weeks ago on this podcast, that if you put Tracy McGrady on those Laker teams with Shaq the first three-peat, they still would have three-peated. I've gone on record.
You are out of your damn mind.
I will not change my mind on that. But there is a perception out there that Kobe Bryant has been being disrespected over the last few months ago. So, Pat, throw it to you first. What have you seen out there?
Sir, it's not just been a few months. It's been a few years. Before Kobe died, y'all hated Kobe, okay? Y'all couldn't stand him, okay? Then, tragically, we lost Kobe. Then all this love. Oh, Kobe this. Mamba mentality. Y'all we don't call him the Black Mamba over here, okay? We call him Bean, okay? First of all. Secondly, all that fake love y'all had went away. Like, it felt like it went away probably around the end of 2023, somewhere around there. Because y'all started saying little slick comments here and there. Now y'all trying to take away from his legacy, trying to plug and play players like it's 2K. We're going to put Tracy McGrady in there, and he could have won 3 championships because he was just as good as Kobe. Ain't no fucking way, bro. Are you crazy? It's not just because his talent, bro. We know Tracy McGrady was talented. Vince Carter was talented. AI was talented, but it takes more than talent to win. Okay, Kobe was a fucking winner. Okay, if it was only based on talent, LeBron would have 12 championships right now. You feel me? Fuck y'all haters. That's what I gotta say about that. Don't you ever in your life talk crazy about Kobe Bean Bryant. The second greatest player of all time. You see this hat right here? You watch your motherfucking mouth. My Kobe ain't in the top 10.
Lakers get sensitive when they win a championship for a few years. Jesus.
No, ain't nothing sensitive over here, bro. We won 5 years ago. When the last time the Magic won, bro?
That's what I'm saying. Y'all haven't won one in a few years, so you get a little antsy. It's okay.
Nah, you can put some respect on Bean name. That's what y'all do.
Crazy though. That's all I hear is tons of respect put on Kobe. So some people put him in the top like.
Tracy McGrady would have won if he played with Shaq.
Dwayne Wade gets compared to Harden all the time. Kobe doesn't ever get compared to Harden. Come on,
damn right. There's levels to this shit.
He gets love. He gets love. I think I felt like a lot of the love started pouring out his retirement season. Watching everybody go around trade jerseys. It was nothing but well, except for the people that wanted to hold on to some old charges. But most of the people love Kobe.
There you go. You see?
Fake charges.
You see?
Yeah.
He raped somebody. Kobe ain't raped nobody. Okay.
But people loved him. People still loved him in the final years.
No, but y'all hated Kobe. Stop lying.
Y'all hated what Kobe did to us on the court, but I don't think people were taking like personal shots at not liking Kobe Bryant. Everybody loved the Mamba mentality. Everybody wanted their guy to be like that. I think when you're a Lakers fan, you see all the hate because you're the target of it. So I think that's what I meant by like I think you're a little more sensitive to it, not because it's not warranted, but like you're seeing the all of it, whereas other people, we're not taking all of it all the time.
Almost 35 years, I've heard it all.
Let me address
air balls. But
every star player gets attacked though. Because they're good.
I've heard it all.
My sentiment that I've had for a long time, and here's the reason why I had it, is not to disrespect Kobe and say Tracy McGrady is better than Kobe. That's not the lane I'm going in. The lane I'm going in is that Shaq was so fucking dominant in those 3 years that you could plug someone else in there and they were probably still going to win. So from my standpoint, it was no disrespect to Kobe at all. You will never, ever in your life hear me say that Tracy McGrady is a better player than Kobe Bryant. I hate fucking Tracy McGrady. You will never hear me say that.
You better watch your mouth. You know you gotta live there, man. You gotta live there.
Look, Chance in my group chat, he'll be all right. So
he lives around the people who love him. He lives around the people who love him.
So, but what I'm saying is that it's not an indictment on Kobe for me saying that you could have put Tracy McGrady in that spot. I'm saying Shaq was such a fucking beast that hell, you could have put D-Wade back if D-Wade was in the league back then, and the Lakers would have three-peated. That's where I'm coming from. So from me, no disrespect to Kobe, but there are people out there who have been disrespecting Kobe. Mike, go ahead.
One of the other factors involved with that early 2000s Lakers team is also Phil Jackson. Put Tracy McGrady under Phil Jackson and run that what's it called?
Triangle.
Yeah, the triangle offense, and you might get the same result. I would expect the same result. Me personally, throwing it out there, I've always said that Kobe's overrated. Kobe is
Get the fuck out of here. What the fuck? What?
Kobe,
okay, oh my bad.
Kobe is the best bad shot taker that has ever walked the floor in the NBA.
Please let me have a rebuttal, please.
And it took him 50 shots to get 50 points in his last game of the season. 50 shots. He was just throwing shit up. Like, it happened often. There's jokes about it. Kobe passed the fucking ball, right? You can go watch The Wash, and you can have Snoop. He's watching a Laker game. Pass the fucking ball, Kobe. Goddamn. I'm saying, like, it's been known. It's put everywhere. Like Kobe was a ball hog. Let's be honest. But could he score? Yeah. I mean, did he
81?
Yeah. How many shots did he take to make that 81 points, bro? And they were playing a shitty Toronto team. They were playing a shitty Toronto team. So, you know, like, cool stat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never seen it, but to me, it's a cool stat. They won the game. They beat a weak team, and he got 81 points. All right. Do it again. He never did it again. He has a lot of games like that, though.
When you're the number one option and you don't have decent teammates sometimes when you're around there and you don't trust them and you're trying to win games.
I can't hear that because that's been an excuse from people when you have the LeBron argument. It's okay if it's okay for Kobe, but it's not okay for LeBron.
LeBron can't do it.
I've never attacked LeBron on his efficiency.
No. I'm not talking about that at all.
Okay.
I'm not calling you out on that specifically. Okay. I've had conversations on social media regarding this, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Facebook, whatever. But I mean, he's a good player. He's nowhere near top 5, but he's a good player.
Good player, guys. He's a good player.
Hold on, Pat. I'm gonna throw to you next, Pat. But I got and Mike. You know,
no, he can go ahead and say his shit.
No, Mike, it is absolutely all of. But I have never in my life heard Kobe Bryant being called overrated, bro.
Bro, what the fuck?
Hey.
Oh my God. What?
Hey, I use the word. I'm not worried about the word itself. When
ahead,
you're sitting there 30, 40, 50 shots a game.
You talking
about ridiculous.
Iverson was actually a worse shot taker, but that's okay. Pat,
9 for 37.
Hey, I was
14 for 38. It's a lot of nights.
But Dan takes us to the finals on his own. Period.
37 piece on your fucking head. Remember when Kobe averaged like 50 points a game, like during the month of March one time?
That's when
Shaq was amazing. It was amazing. He dropped 81 on an NBA team. That was fucking amazing, bro. You remember that one time the Lakers when Shaq fouled out and Kobe saved us in that series against the Pacers? Remember that one time Kobe?
If we're talking about
he crossed up Scottie Pippen and then threw that alley to Shaq. It was like one of the most iconic memories or moments in NBA history. You remember that? guys.
You want to talk
What?
about a whole month of scoring?
Okay,
Why are
do
we
you
talking
remember
about
when
James
Kobe
Harden?
won? Do you remember when Kobe went to
He's
the
trash.
finals after
He's fucking
Shaq?
trash.
You remember when Kobe went to the finals after Shaq 3 years in a row, right? And then won back to back in 2 of those years. Remember that?
Who?
Remember
he had
that?
teammates and he had a great coach, man. He had to go.
Remember
They
that?
had
Remember when
bring Phil
Kobe
Jackson
Bryant
back.
averaged 35 points a game without Phil Jackson being there? You remember that?
What? That was on the Rudy team.
Huh?
I
Phil
want to
fucking
address
Jackson.
something. I want to
Fuck outta
address
here.
something that Bryce.
How far did they get without Phil and without a lot of help for Kobe? Like, how far did they get?
This is my point.
Down?
What?
Thank you.
That doesn't mean shit. He got 5 championships. Shut the fuck up.
Cam,
What are you talking about?
that's
He
we're
won
not
3
attacking you. I'm
back-to-back.
asking questions. Cam, how far do you have to go on your top all-time list before you hit Kobe?
Give a fuck.
This is what I'll say about this is what I say about Kobe. This is what I would say because I'm not going to do a top 10 list. That'll take us all day.
No, that's why I'm asking.
Kobe is the second greatest shooting guard I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3. Pat heard me say this. Mike probably heard me say this before. Michael, Kobe, Dwayne. That's what it is.
That's it. I agree.
I do want to address James Harden because I know Bryce, you brought it up. I don't engage in the James Harden versus D Wade conversation because it is the most ridiculous conversation I've ever seen in the history of the NBA. Okay. You can debate LeBron James and Michael Jordan. That's legit. You can talk about Bill Russell and Wilt. That's legit. You can talk about Magic and Larry. I will not entertain Dwayne Wade versus James Harden. I won't do it. It is absolutely ridiculous. James Harden, to me, is one of the most overrated players in the history of the goddamn NBA who disappears every playoff run. That's
Cam, what sets them apart in your mind? Between
Wade
Harden,
and
yes, and Harden, yes. Tell me what sets them apart.
There's a winning mentality that you might call Mamba mentality or whatever it is. There's just something let's just say the it factor, right?
Yeah.
There's a it factor. Now, we know who Kobe patterned his game after. We know Dwayne grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, so we know who he watched growing up. It's a certain it factor that Dwayne Wade has that James Harden will absolutely never have because he always chokes when it counts the most. He can put up regular season numbers all fucking day. In the playoffs, James Harden has never, ever, ever delivered. Mike, what you got?
James Harden?
Yes.
I think the big difference between those two for me is that James Harden was primary facilitator. So the ball was in his hands all the time. So he could get those points. He could shoot whenever he wanted to. That wasn't Dwayne Wade's game. So I don't really compare those two at all to each other.
Well, for some reason, the NBA universe loves to compare those two for some ungodly reason.
It's absolutely ridiculous to me.
It is.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I would never,
Let me ask you guys, they play different positions. Curry or Kobe? Because if we're talking about mentality, Curry's definitely got that winning mentality.
What are you saying?
Kobe.
Like overall, like career? Like what are you saying?
Yeah. Like who would you rank higher on your list when it's all said and done, Curry or Kobe? Because I think I have Curry over Kobe.
Why?
It's not just the championships, I guess, which are, I know Kobe has the 5. It's the way he changed the game where he wasn't duplicating Michael Jordan. He's just playing the best way he knew how to play. But he had that winning, killing mentality too that we're talking about that Kobe had more than others. And then so I bring up Curry because he's the leader. They don't win without him. Those kind of things. I see similarities that are not in the position or necessarily the style of the game, but in terms of leadership and then the success they had.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Kobe had a big influence on the game as well. I mean, most of these new kids' favorite player is Kobe. Everybody wearing Kobe's. China, it's billions of people worship this man. As far as on the court, I think they're in two different stratospheres.
Because I hear them rings around
the rings.
No, he was talking about the ranking. I think they're very close.
They're close. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Stephen Curry. He was one of the greatest players of all time. I'm going to be biased, of course, but neither one of them did what each other did, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it up.
I feel like they both get slided on the list. That's another reason.
Oh, I agree with that.
They both
because Steph Curry, this is his era. This is not LeBron era. This is Stephen Curry's era here, buddy. Yeah. Hey, Bryce, remember when
I feel like you had to share. I don't feel like it's one or the other. I feel like it's more split than previous eras.
Caitlin Clark.
Mike, is it LeBron's era or Kobe's era? I'm sorry. Or
No, Curry. Stephen Curry.
LeBron. It's LeBron. It's LeBron's. To get to any form of a ring, you had to go through LeBron. Let's be honest, and let's take the situations at hand that were there, right? When last week when we talked about Game 7, and I said I can sympathize with Indiana, we knew where that was. That's 2015. Indiana lost to OKC, and that game had that significant loss of Tyrese Halliburton that took the game away from Indiana. The injuries to Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving took that ability away from Cleveland in 2015. So we're literally talking about the same situation that could have been LeBron's 5th ring. And even then, if they don't go and get Durant, we're talking about a 3-peat, right? So they had to put that team together to beat LeBron. They didn't put a team together to beat Curry. They put a team together to beat LeBron.
Miami put a team together to beat Kobe Bryant.
Didn't go get Durant. Durant went crawling to them wanting a ring after they beat it.
That's my point.
That's why he'll be the greatest role player of all time.
That's my point. That's my point.
True.
So
that's not true.
To me, it's LeBron's era, period.
Everybody wants Durant, but he went crawling to them.
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
No, you're good. When I value who's above someone else, I always value who can get me a bucket when I need it. And I'm talking about the last couple of shots. Who will get me a bucket? Who's not afraid to take the shot? Mm-hmm. Curry and Kobe both are not afraid to take the shot, but I think Kobe will get me a better shot than Curry will. Wow. LeBron James to me is not even in that conversation because we know he will pass the ball. Now, Wade. Go ahead, Mike.
But even though he's got that higher percentage of game-winning shots,
I mean, if we do that, then we can talk about Melo and talk about Halliburton.
Well, I'm just saying who we're talking about right now.
He's made 3 or 4 game-winning shots in his career, but the majority of the time he will pass the ball. And he will be afraid of the free throw line.
We saw it, bro. Fuck that stat. We saw it.
As far as Harden and Wade will get me that shot at the end of the game. He will force it more so than Harden will. So that's how I determine who's my greater players when I'm comparing people. So Curry's great. Kobe's going to get me a better shot, and Kobe will make a tougher shot. You get what I'm saying? LeBron James, the toughest shot, the toughest game winner I ever seen LeBron James make was a shot that didn't even matter because it still lost the series, but that was a shot against the Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
It was game 2 or game 3, I believe, but LeBron still lost the series. So that wasn't a game when like that shot, that bullshit shot with Michael Jordan on Elo. That's fine. They lost that series. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to see shots like that.
What about
didn't LeBron go to Miami that following year? Did he go to Miami?
He did. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Well, no, not that year. I think it was the next year. Cause I think they lost.
Okay, my bad.
So what about the game in the playoffs against Chicago or the LeBronto Raptors?
Which game? What are you talking about?
There was a game two when he hit a corner shot over Derrick Rose, or no, it wasn't Derrick Rose. It was the Derrick Rose era. It was like 2000. It was 2011.
Probably.
Oh no, it
I
wasn't
have to go
2011. It
back.
was 2015.
I don't. So that was a Cleveland LeBron.
Yeah, it was a Cleveland. Yeah, it was a Cleveland
Okay.
game. He
Okay.
hit a 3-pointer from the corner at the buzzer, and they won that game. They ended up winning the series.
I gotta go back and look at that one because I don't remember that.
Yeah, we gotta Google that. We don't
I will
remember,
say,
LeBron making
There's
this
a
game.
famous quote I remember from Phil Jackson. They asked him the final shot of the game, would you rather have Jordan or Kobe? And he said, well, he trusted Jordan to get to a spot to make his shot, but he said Kobe didn't have to make it to a spot. He'd just take it in.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Phil Jackson took Kobe for one shot over Jordan. It's hard to argue with a final shot. There's only a few guys. Curry's up there, in my opinion, but Kobe is definitely one of the best if you're ever going to take a final shot. I watched him. It wasn't a playoff game, but I was watching the game where him and D-Wade with Miami were just trading buckets. And I really thought D-Wade – I was a big Flash fan back then, and I really thought Wade had put the nail in the coffin, and Kobe pretty much just ripped the heart out at the very last second. I couldn't believe that shot.
I was up at 2:00 in the morning watching that game and still fuck Kobe for making that shot. But
you see how Kobe is in y'all hearts? You see that? Y'all have memories of this man tearing your players apart. Y'all, come on, bro. But he was just a good player. Get the fuck out of here, man. The fuck?
And Pat's talking about the internet trolls, as we talked about. So,
they attack everybody.
Ain't talking about internet trolls.
Like they attack Paulo before he even does anything. If you're great, they're gonna attack you. That's all it is. Greatness.
Kobe Bean Bryant. Y'all know his name.
Mike. So we're gonna go through the four. And I'm gonna start with Mike first, which I know what the answer is. We all know what our answer is. Last shot to win a game. You taking LeBron?
Yeah, I'll take LeBron.
Got it. Pat, we know who you taking, but I gotta ask you anyway. Okay. Last shot to win a game. Who you got?
Oh no, man. Let me think for a second.
Don't say Robert Orr.
Robert Parrish.
Parker.
Bean, that's who. You know what time it is.
Sam's taking Chalmers. I already know.
Fuck
Mario
you,
Chalmers.
little bitch. Fuck you. Right, Bryce Dylan Ward, government name. Who you got? Take two last.
That's not my middle name, by the way.
I thought it was.
Did you say Dylan?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my brother's name. That's not my name.
Go ahead. Last shot.
You know, I take him for a final shot all time.
Yeah.
Daryl Armstrong.
Maybe prime playoff Dirk.
Wow.
That's a good one, buddy.
I mean, 7-footer. It's hard to block him.
That's tough.
I mean, he won a whole championship on that fadeaway.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn, that's tough.
You won one on the layup, bro.
Hey, bravo to Bryce. He gets the winner out of all of us.
That's tough. That's tough. I will go with Kobe. Absolutely.
Damn. Okay.
But I love Dirk so much. I can't even say nothing bad about Dirk, right? Like everybody loves Dirk, right? So yeah. So with that said, we're gonna wrap it up for this week's episode of the Hardwood Nation podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share our content. Drop comments below. Everyone stay safe, and we are out.